Welcome to I Know a Guy Bicycles, hanging out with a guy in the garage. Got some news today, which is very interesting. I saw on bicycle retail news outlet Brain where there was another release of the Pros Closet, which is within my realm of circle of used bikes, and they've been doing it for almost over 2 decades. And they started off at eBay, and they've moved up to the size they are. And I took a huge investment a couple years ago, and now they are struggling, probably paying back that huge $40 million investment, in addition to several other aspects of their business of expanding and that kind of thing. And my question is, going into 23, 2 years after COVID, after the huge boom, did we not see this coming? I mean, some of these companies seemed kind of really blind. Let's take Peloton, for example. They were struggling before this hit, then all of a sudden they had this huge balloon, and through COVID, and then they did pretty well. Then they decided to open a whole bunch of retail shops or whatever, and some bad investments and bad ideas because they had all this money and they just thought it was going to go forever. I'm sorry, I've been in retail for over 30 years and nothing lasts forever. There's always a boom, and there's also a hangover that comes with it. And this is the hangover just to start. You had a lot of major big corporations like Thule, Pros Closet, and several others have done layoffs, Specialized included. And going into overseas, Giant is laid off a lot of people as well. Not really disclosing that per se to a lot of people, but they're trying to keep it hidden, but it's getting out there. Unfortunately, we're in a situation where the big companies are going to hurt, but they will survive in some level. They'll have some cutbacks, productivity, product lines will be kind of stalled because they built too much, apparently. But after a certain point, it's just gonna, kind of flatten out and kind of gain back. They're going to be knocked out by their heels and start climbing back up. The unfortunate piece is the independent bike dealers, the small mom and pop shop. Parker Bikes is where it came from. It's no longer around because of things like this, and it never was hugged or supported as it should have been. And we had our own issues too on a more of a micro level. Well, the independent bike dealers from here are already struggling with Specialized, Trek, and some other companies buying up all the stores and taking up the product and putting it all in their stock, and making it difficult for the independent bike dealers to have that inventory available, also undercutting direct to customer sales and so forth. It's just taking bites of your sales force space and shrinking it. That's the less volume that you have as a bike shop to be able to sustain. So a lot of shops are going to revert onto their service and other aspects, which some shops, they have pretty big service departments and can carry them through a slower period of time, which is great. But on the new retail front, it's going to struggle. In my micro world, I already noticed this hitting pretty hard in November, where bike sales have just dropped. Bike prices for the used market has dropped. And some people are still trying to hold on to those higher prices, still think it is 2020, but it's over. Then they're going to have to eventually move those bikes on. So here's the gold nugget to take out of it. If you're an independent bike dealer, and I'm not talking about the big guys. I mean, these guys, they have purses. They're going to be just fine. But the smaller individual shops, this is out to you. Look into the used market. Buy a few of those used bikes and refurbish them. Use their service department and leverage that. Put those on the floor. If you get sales off of them, it doesn't have to be a full keystone flip on a used bike. You have the ability to take that bike and have add-ons in addition to the bikes you'd be purchasing, either road, mountain, or otherwise. If you can fit that niche and put a good solid bike that's in pretty good condition that's used on your floor, you have the opportunity or actually it's going to hit those individuals that are just getting into cycling, into either mountain biking or road biking or just recreational riding in general. That's the golden ticket customer. Reason being is they need everything. They need the helmet, they need the service, they need the education, they need the warm hug from the shop. So let's try to get our heads out of this boutique world and actually get back to our bread and butter. Who got us here in the first place? Families, recreational riders. They're the ones that actually built this whole infrastructure of the cycling community up to what it is today. And now we're going to have to go back and kind of give those people a warm hug. I've been doing this for several years, just trying to get people into road riding, trying to give them an opportunity or an option for a good used bike that's safe, that can get them into cycling without spending the $1,500 to $2,000 out of the gate. So there we're at. So what we're going to do from here? Well, we know what happened. Are we going to learn from it? Probably not. What we could do in the smaller micro community levels is get those people engaged, get them out there, do more riding, that kind of thing. I had a post or a comment on a post is like, I never get flats, but I carry all the stuff with me. And when I come across somebody that has a flat, you help them out. It's a community feel. That's exactly what we're trying to shoot for as for bike shops. And bike shops have really kind of, brought themselves up to a higher level. You're gonna have to step it down a little. It's like, yeah, the nice new stuff is great, but hey, you don't need a $10,000 bike slap them in somebody's face when they walk in the door realizing I'm in the wrong place. Come on, let's give them a little bit more of a lead in. You need those hooks to bring those people in. You leverage a lot of things you've started. I've seen a lot of shops start with YouTube and they just died 3 or 4 years ago and just didn't do anything with it. You can leverage that. You can leverage Marketplace. You can leverage Craigslist. You can leverage all those things. And unfortunately, your bike brands like Trek and Specialized and Giant, they put contracts on you that you can't sell direct to the customers, although they are doing it themselves. So you need to find an avenue to do that. Used is great. Pros Closet had very success, even though they're falling on the back heels because they have their own situation. I feel bad for them because I was hoping to keep on succeeding because that's a business model I'm trying to kind of chase in more of a micro level and a different level to perspective. But anyway, that's what we're going to have to look at. And yeah, those people are out there that you might not see your shop around anymore this year. They may have to close or maybe purchased by a big brand. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about, well, how can I help those bike shops that I've been involved with and developed relationships over the years. This time of year is great. Take your bike in and get tuned up. That helps them up quite a bit. You'd be amazed. A couple tune-ups, minor repairs, get ready for the season. This is the great time to do it. Shop around for the stuff that you may need. They may have it on sale already because of the surplus of all this stuff that's come out. That's a way to help them out too. So yeah, be advocate for your local bike shop. Help them out. Do as much as you can. And if they have group rides, suggest group rides for them, or have group rides start at their particular location as a starting endpoint, that kind of thing. Drop ride, more recreational kind of thing. There's a lot of things you can do if you're an avid cyclist to help your local shop. This industry, it's going to struggle. And coming from a bike shop that did fail, which was horrible, Parker Bikes back in the day, I don't want any shop to experience that, even how ego they are. It's something that you, as an owner or family shop, that's just the worst thing ever. And everybody can relate to that. Having failures at that mass level is just devastating. It crushes you for years. So anywho, that's my 2 cents. I figured I'd jump on a Friday afternoon with a cup of Joe and kind of air out what my thoughts are. And I was like, oh man, this is, we're having a hard time here. And bike shops are just going to need to work through it and reinvent themselves going forward, as well as all outdoor activity event or venues or events or shops, because those retail places are just going to be struggling too. So if you're a kayak person, Same thing. Go see those kayak people in the wintertime. Or if you're a hiking guy, a hiking person and do hiking, go see if they have any rock climbing stuff or whatever that may be. Help those industries that you're actively involved in, because unfortunately, sometimes you'll go to that favorite place, drive right up, like, hey, I'm gonna go get my tube and some stuff. Big old clothes sign, out of business. Didn't even see it coming. And some of these shops are going to drop like a rock so fast that you're not going to even hear about it. It's going to be gone, or they become a different store, or whatever. But I mean, there's a change. There's always change out there. But if you're an avid cyclist or like riding, you've been to a shop a couple times, you really like the people there, think about that. I was like, hey, maybe I could use my bike tuned up right now. Maybe I could get my parts and stuff and helmet and new gloves and whatever, to get ready for the season, and kick some tires and see what else is new out there and see what they're doing to reinvent themselves and have the conversations. This is the time to have a conversations to your local shops anyway, because in instant season, our head is so buried in repairs and everything else in the world, we can't come up for air until this time next year. And unfortunately, next year, this time, it might be too late for them. So anywho, thanks for spending some time with me. If you've been watching my videos, thank you so much. It's a warm hug. It's, I'm a guy in the garage working on bikes, trying to provide good things for good people. And it's not about me just, flipping a bike. I've been in the industry for over 30 years. This is something I passionately love about. And, obviously, everything I do. If you have any comments or questions or anything, please post them underneath. I'll try to get to them. If there's anything that's like, hey, I really want to know about this or whatever. I come up with ideas like all the time. I come up, every bike I work on, I have like 5 ideas for videos to make, which I'm shooting now just constantly, just for fun, just to add kind of like, hey, people would like to see the viewpoint of a bike mechanic world or a bike shop owner world. Hey, I'm trying to provide that as an open door, and a community. So anyway, be safe, have fun. Thank you for spending time with me. Have a wonderful weekend from the garage. Thank you.